people, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm just going to do a quick video on a battery change, and I was going to go ahead and pop this in, but I thought, look, I think this information may be helpful to a lot of people, so I'm going to put it out there. So this is how to change the battery on a Casio Pro-Trek, or the principles apply to G-Shock as well. And I'll just talk you through it because every single one of these watches that I've opened, there's a similar principle that you can pretty much apply it across the board. So this one is a PRG-40 model, an old model, no longer produced, and I've sold mine. I reviewed this and I sold it, but little did I know my brother-in-law had this same model, different color, and he no longer uses it. So over it comes to me, no battery. I've already opened it and checked out what's in here before I ordered the batteries. That's generally what you have to do, open it and find out what battery it is, unless you're going to look up what it is online. So I've ordered the batteries, and these are the model I went for. So it's Renata 395, and I like Renata. I mean, the alternative model name is SR927SW, so it's so analogous name, different depending on the brand. I like Renata because they are Swiss made and they last a very long time. I had one of these in a Tag Heuer 3000 model, and that lasted for 5 years before I had to change it. More than 5 years. It was just amazing how long it lasted. So that's the models that I've ordered. I've opened up these batteries here, and yes, this model does take 4 batteries, so lots of stuff. So let's just show you how you go about it. I've removed the straps because the straps have rotted away. So you just kind of need to firstly work on a soft mat. This one's just a placemat from Kmart. Anything soft will do because it holds the screws and stops it from rolling away. You don't want to lose the screws. And the other thing I would say is that get a good fitting screwdriver. This is not fantastic quality, but because it comes in a set like this. So again, this is, I think, from Kmart, and I'll put links to products below. It allows you to choose the precise head, or as close as you can get to fitting the head very closely off the screw. So that's what you want to do, because otherwise you slip, and if you slip and kind of like scratch up the screw, you may not be able to do it anymore. So just be careful, use a tool that fits the screw very well. That's a very important principle. Okay, so now working out how to open this, really you just want to look at all the screw holes. So there's 2 on the side here and 2 on this side here that you have to loosen on this particular model. Most Casio, you just have a steel back you have to remove. This one, there is actually a resin cover that you have to work out. There's just different variations to the theme that you will see in different models. One thing I will also note is that you want to make sure you keep track of the screws. Make sure you know which screws go in which hole, because if you mix it up, it may not be, you may not get a very good result. You may in fact damage the screw or the watch if you put the wrong screws in the wrong holes. So just keep track of it in your mind at least. Just as an example, this one's a G-Shock. This is a very old DW9050 model that I've just replaced the battery on. So in this one, it does have kind of the NATO straps. I've taken out the strap, and it, just to show the variation, you have to remove these screws here and here to remove these kind of lace bumpers before you can get at the screws holding the case back, which is right there. So you have to remove 8 screws on this model as well. But if you're working on a G-Shock or Casio of some form, just pay close attention, look at the screws you have to remove, and do it carefully, and you should be right most of the time. I've never had any problem doing this myself. Okay, now I've removed 6 of the screws. There's 2 screws left, so I'm just going to do it now and show you how this opens up. Okay, so those are the last 2 screws, and then in this case you just lift up this resin protector at the back, put it aside, and then the case back is loose, so you can lift that up. So you want to do it, holding it horizontal, or in fact, better yet, maybe work on a flat surface. I'm working on the camera here, so I'm going to hold it up for you guys to see. Inside here, there's kind of this buffer, this plastic buffer, I suppose you might call this. Presumably that's part of the G-Shock function. I'm not really sure what other function this holds apart from helping hold everything else in place. And then you can see the 4 battery positions there. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now in these models, they do clip in, and to remove the clip, Just note, you just have to stick a little pin into the middle of the slot here. For example, I'm going to show this clip here, right? It clips in here. There's a little slot in the middle there. It's probably very difficult for me to show you, but if you look at each of these slots, there's a little kind of tiny slot in the middle of that white plastic there that allows you to stick the pin in and lift up the actual holder. See that? So as I stuck it in, flipped it out, and this comes out, and that allows you to slip the battery under that clip there. So I'm just going to do it with all of these now. This one's down here. Okay, it's just very simple, came off, right? And then this one here, right? And that's really it. You just want to unclip them, and then it allows you to put the battery in. So right now I'm just going to slip these off, and okay, so I'm just going to hold it up there, slip the battery under there, two of them and this one. Okay, and then once you're firmly into position, you can hold it, push it down, and clip that in place. There you go. Okay, so those two in place, and then just going to work on the other two here. Just be careful not to bend this housing too much. You can, it is actually kind of firm, and you do have to kind of slip under there. All right, I find in this model, I can do it fine with my fingers. In some other models, you might want to work with tweezers or whatever else. Okay, slip it underneath, clip it in, and then last one, clip this last one in, and then there we go, right? Powered. That's it. 4 batteries in this model. This one is pretty intense, and I thought that was a good one to show because I have never seen a watch with more batteries than this particular model. So it's a good one to show how many batteries you may have to work through, and then just reverse engineer it to put it back together. Put your plastic case in, put your case back, put the resin back, and then work your screws back in carefully. I would suggest working alternate screws on the 4 on the case back. So you do opposite ones, and then you do the other 2, and then tighten them after you kind of fasten it loosely. That would be what I suggest you do when you put the case back on. Just to note also, this is not guaranteeing that it's going to be waterproofed to the rating that it's supposed to be. So that's not going to be doing that. If it was important for you to preserve the 200-meter water resistant that this watch has, then you probably want to take it to a place that can do it properly and pressure test it for you. But for me, I might take this swimming at most. That's not going to be a problem, putting it back. As long as you pay close attention to the position of the seal, just, tighten it nicely and it should be fine. So guys, there we have it. That's a video on how to replace the battery on a Pro-Trek or G-Shocks. They all follow the same pattern. Thank you to Casio for being homologous in their design. That's always been helpful. So guys, there we go. Simple job. You can do it yourself. Let me know what you think. Let me know about your experiences. If you do this yourself, always like to hear about people's watch collecting and modifying experiences. So guys, if you enjoy my videos, do consider subscribing. New content every week, always aiming to be objective and unbiased about all things horology. Thank you again for sticking with me, and as always, I'll catch you guys again next time.